Alright, so a year ago, pretty sure a year ago, I went over my collection in my room for a little bit. I only did it for a little bit. I did that a year ago. It was in February, probably. And I thought, huh, that's probably changed a lot. So then I decided, why not do the video again? Because a year ago, yeah, it was pretty different. I don't really remember exactly what I went over in that video. I probably just went over all the stuff on the wall. And that was it. Just everything on the wall. But I was also going to go over my jewelry collection too, because, well, to be honest, when you compare that to the ninth grade me, so think of ninth grade me, right? Ninth grade JJ. Look at his jewelry box. Yeah, it was pretty small. And then we look at it now, well, soon, in a few minutes, you're like, oh, yeah, that's a lot more. So, yeah, we're going to go over it again. 1 year later. Well, like a year and 8 months later. So I'm just going to pull this down right now. So, we have my Domocon bag, which is pretty nice. So we have this. It pairs alongside my hat with this whole outfit. It's actually an outfit I like to wear a little bit, from time to time. Because it's pretty nice. But I do also pair this outfit along with this hat, which it's not really part of a collection. It just looks cool. So you got that. But I'm not going to show everything like that because, to be honest, I don't really want that to fall. Like any of that again. So, I don't know. Just going to show a camera on them. But yeah, those are the first few things. So now, you can actually do a walk around, and then you can see everything. So let's go. Alright, now in a little bit of a weird order, we're going to start all the way down here. So first, we have the truck-con. So if you watch anime, which, well, okay, to be honest, I don't really watch anime. But if you have, then it's kind of like a trope where the truck hits some random anime protagonist. So, where's that? That's pretty cool. And then around the guitar, we have my Cabal outfit. So, basically in 2024, or actually, no, more like 2023 of Halloween, decided to cosplay Cabal for Halloween. Why Cabal specifically? Because he's my #1 favorite character in Mortal Kombat. And then up here, we have Rigby from obviously regular show. But on the box is my Shao Kahn outfit. So I did Shao Kahn last year, 2024 of Halloween. And it was pretty nice because this hat, the mask, it usually costs a lot since it's a collectible. So you know how that goes. I got lucky. Then I got it for like maybe $80, $90. And the whole cosplay is here. The armor, the cape, and then the spear. I never got the hammer because, well, to be honest, I didn't really know how I was going to do that. So yeah, well, I couldn't get a sledgehammer. And then all the way up here, where I have the most stuff, which is all the Sonic memorabilia, the Sonic related items. So from left to right, we got Sonic, then Knuckles, then Tails, then Super Sonic and normal Sonic. Right behind them is Shadow, which you could just barely see. And then Knuckles, and then Metal Sonic, and then Classic Sonic along with the Emerald right here. Knuckles, which is kind of hidden. You can see a coin orb, but it's also just, hidden. Then we have a duck of Sonic, which you could easily get those, and Tails. I couldn't fit all of them on one shelf, so Neo Metal Sonic had to be alone over here. Alongside, we got the Mortal Kombat stuff, so we got stickers. And then Cabal holding Shao Kahn's hammer, because why not? And then Shao Kahn holding one of Cabal's hook swords, because why? Just why not? And then below we have the dragon of Mortal Kombat, which, to be honest, you could probably just say that's Liu Kang. And, he does turn into a dragon in one of the classic games. Scott Pilgrim's wristband, anime Sonic, Scott Pilgrim, I almost said Sonic, the anime Scott. And then these, which, to be honest, I kind of forgot what they were called. They might have been called Voodoo Dolls. And then we got Dance Dance Revolution. And we got the Mortal Kombat 9 poster. Or Mortal Kombat, I guess. So we have this. Scott Pilgrim portrait, really. And then a little bit below, we have stuff from Japan, actual Japan. So some of this stuff, if you ever watched a Ghibli film, then you might know that there's Howl's Moving Castle, and then there's also, I think, a scene from Howl's Moving Castle, and then a few other stuff. And then, later on to the right, we have a Sub-Zero Funko Pop. Looks pretty nice, but couldn't fit up there, obviously. And then a Katana MK11 Funko Pop, along with a Sonic and another Sonic one, along with another Sonic collectible. Being a phone holder, which this is actually a second one I have. The first one was broken. Now I'd say you could technically count this as a collection along with my collectibles, because we're going to get a little bit more insight on this, but yeah. Nyjah Huston skateboard set for a tech deck. The tech deck's broken, so I don't have that right now. Well, it's probably on the shelf. And a little bit below, we have a Hello World skate park bowl, which looks pretty nice. And then, finally, over here, we got a Sonic Squishmallow. And a little bit more up, we have a Freddy hat, or a Freddy beanie, which looks pretty nice. Oh yeah, so I got a little bit too hot wearing that hat. I forgot to mention somehow. But there's also Cabal Bookstores, which they're pretty nice. I'm gonna hope that YouTube doesn't either. But yeah, the bookstores, which are pretty nice. Originally for his costume, see, I was gonna try and get fake bookstores, but they didn't have them. So I got the real deal. That's pretty cool still. But I just leave them hanging on the wall because they just look that nice. Alright, and since nearing the end of this, we have a Shadow hat, we have a Sonic hat, we have a Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles hat. Well, which looks pretty nice. And then the other stuff is jewelry. All of my jewelry. So I don't think I forgot anything else. But where's my tech deck collection, which is pretty big. It might be over 30, with some of them being broken. And then all my jewelry. So compared to the 9th grade, the start of 9th grade, I didn't have that much jewelry. But now I'm at the start of 11th grade and just so much. We have random chains, the Grim Reaper, a coffin, a heart, some piercings which they're being used. Other chains with a wolf on them, a heart, a lot of rings, like way too many. Some of them hang on the wall, some rings hang on the wall, along with other piercings. And even more in the coffin. And then there's all those. But that was my whole collection a year later. I still think it looks pretty nice. Still trying to add to it. I don't really know what I'm gonna add. I just add stuff kind of randomly. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. So the editing part of me is here. Now I did forget, okay, I'm only saying forget in quotes. So I was gonna show one of my shoes, but then I remembered I didn't have them anymore. But one of the things I used to have was Family Guy shoes, which you could count as a part of my collection, but then I got rid of them. The other item was, well, I didn't forget it, but I just barely highlighted it, but it was my Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails hat, but it was the baseball cap, not the snapback. But that was practically everything I went over. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video.